everybody. Welcome. All right, so what am I doing? Well, okay, so when I made the transition, um, like most of you are doing now, from, basically just being a chord playing guitar player to a note playing guitar player, where I was able to play little licks and riffs and or even lead guitar. Um, what happened was I realized that when it was time to play things like scales, yeah, but like leads and making up little riffs and stuff, I had nothing. Like I had nothing, right? So of course I set about learning licks and riffs and little accoutrements, we'll call them. And I would sit there and go, okay, so in the key of C, okay, so let's see, I can use the C note and I guess I can use the D note. And now can I use this G note? Okay, C, no, wait a minute. And I'd get all head wound up about what notes I can use and whether or not I'm being theoretically proper, okay? And I got to tell you, I was getting nowhere with this. And then one day, it just kind of hit me. I'm sitting on my couch. I think I'm even watching TV. And I'm noodling, right? You've heard that word before. And I'm doing just this little... And I thought, oh, that sounds pretty good, right? And then, maybe a few minutes later, I'm... thought, oh, there's a nice little... Oh, that one's pretty good too. Hey, this is all right. This is pretty easy, actually. And I'm thinking, okay, so what am I playing now? And I started to try to figure out what I was playing, and then I realized, stop. You're going to do what you did to yourself when you started playing chords, right? You're going to overanalyze everything, and basically you're going to wonder, why I'm playing this and all that. Just play the chords. So when we start out playing guitar, we can't play anything. Why? Because we don't know any chords. So we start learning the 8 open chords that we usually teach or are taught as beginners. And then when you can learn, maybe you've learned 2 or 3 of those chords, you can start putting them together and at least playing chord progressions, right, while you work on other things, or you're playing songs already with 2 or 3 chords. Okay, so then I thought, well, if I want to be a lick player or an accoutrement player or lead player, whatever you want to call it, I'm probably going to need to know some licks, okay? So I've got to build a lick repertoire or a lick library, or I got to develop a pocket full of licks, just like I did with my chords. When I started to learn chords, I only learned 2 or 3, right, to get me going, and then all of a sudden I could only play songs with those chords in them. And that made sense, and I was good with that. And then as I learned new chords, well, then I can play more songs. Again, the same thing happens when you want to be a lick player, right? Now, we can stumble our way through, where when we played chords, we really couldn't. We had to know what the chord was and how to strum it. But with notes, like we can literally, like if a piece of music is playing, I could sit here and kind of do this and kind of get my way and figure out where to go with it. Absolutely. But what you'll find you'll need is, again, a lick library. So let me show you how I started building mine, because at first it was pretty hard and it was confusing and overwhelming, and I kind of gave up. And then I realized what I was doing wrong. And let's get into it and take a look. All right, so the first thing, okay, was when I started to learn these little licks, often just using 2 or 3 or 4 notes, right? And some sort of a sequence. And when I first started out, I was analyzing everything. Okay, so I'm playing in the key of C, so all right, I better go, okay, let's go here to C. Now, can I use this note, the D? Yeah, because I can make a box. Now, can I do anything after the box? Can I play over here? Can I take this note over here? Is this in the C scale? And, well, to be honest, I was getting nowhere with this, right? Because all I was doing was thinking about keys and chords and theory and all that kind of stuff. And then, again, on my couch, noodling, watching TV, I started to come up with these little things, right? Or something like this, maybe. And then I started thinking, oh, well, what am I playing? Oh my God, I didn't know what key. Oh, what note? What scale? What? And it turns out that while sitting on my couch watching TV, I actually came up with some pretty cool little licks. But the thing was, I didn't know what key I was playing in. I didn't know what notes I was playing, right? I knew nothing. But what I did know was that, according to my ears, that sounded pretty cool, okay? So then I thought, all right, well, let's stay with that for now. So I would come up with something like this, maybe. Right? Just a little thing. And I'd play it over and over again. Or it might have been something like this. Okay, and then I'd say, oh, that's cool. Let's see what it sounds like here. Now, I don't care where I'm playing. I don't know what notes I'm playing. That's not the point. The point is, remember the shape. Remember the melody and the melodic shape, right, that you played to get that melody. And once you've got it in your brain, okay, stick it in your pocket. And I know what you're saying, but wait a minute. I don't know if I can play, like, what key can I play that in? Well, what am I going to play that with? Well, here's the beauty. Any of these licks that you make up, if they pass the test of the ear, then they're going to work on the fretboard. And let me explain it. I've always told you that when you want to get into playing some kind of leads or riffs, right, that the only piece of information we need is the key of the song. We don't even need to know what chords are playing. Now, as we get better and better, we will automatically pretty much know the chords in whatever key the song is, or we'll have a really good idea. And then we can play little riffs within each chord. As the chord comes up in the song, we can change our root note to the root note of the chord that's playing and play a little riff off of that, and then go back. I think you understand. And it can lead to some really cool, complex sounding licks and riffs, right? But before we get there, we got to start somewhere. Just like we started on our chords, you know, with C and D or whatever it was, E and E minor or E and A. We got to start somewhere. We got to bring our first few licks into the repertoire, right? So remember, we only need to know the key. So let's just, for the arguments, for the rest of the video, for argument's sake and for demonstration purposes, let's take this lick here. Okay? Or something similar. Okay? We got that lick. Now we could play that lick here. We could play that lick here. Now you can tell already that it sounds good. That's the ear test. But you can tell that when you play this in different spots of the guitar, starting on any note, you can hear the musical relationship. You can hear that it's the same riff. It's just in a different voicing or tone or pitch, right? Because we're not playing it all in the same key. We're just going random. In this case, we would be playing this in a D, right? Because that's where we're starting. Now, if I played it over here somewhere, now we're in A, same riff, okay? So we can play this anywhere. We just got to figure out where. All right, so this one, I'm starting in, say, an E, right? So we're starting on different points in different keys, but it still sounds the same, okay? Well, again, that's the beauty of these little riffs, right? Once they pass that ear test, they're going to sound really good wherever I decide to apply them. So no more worrying about what key I'm playing in, and no more worrying about what notes I'm starting and what notes I can play and what notes I can't play. We're going to just wash all that away and use our ear to say, hey, that's a cool sounding riff. Then we're going to take that shape that we memorize, that we burn into our muscle memory and put in our pocket, and we're going to pull it out whenever we want to use it in any key. All right, in this case, we're in A minor. So I got my lick in my pocket, and I'm going to find an A. We'll start right here, okay, on this A right here. Here we go. There's my little lick. Right, okay, let's check another key. All right, so now we're in C and a little different tempo. So of course we have to adjust our lick playing to match our tempo as well, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go into C. So let's take this C here for now. Now we're a little slower. Right, so we slowed it down, but it's the same lick. So again, all we need to know is what key are we in? And somebody says, hey, we are in the key of G. So I'm going to take my lick out of my pocket and I'm going to start on a G. Right? Or someone says, hey, no, it's in C. Okay, so let's start in C. Right? And then maybe later on in the song, I got another little lick. Now we know we're in the key of C that I can maybe apply here on this C. Right? Or this C here. Okay, so once we've established the key of the song, in this case C, then we can take all those licks out of our pocket and we can run them starting on a C note. That's how easy this can be, right? No more overthinking, no more worrying about what key I'm in or anything, anything remotely associated with theory. All we need to do is continuously noodle, right? And always be working on finding little licks and riffs. Make sure we memorize them. Make sure they sound good, which they will, all over the fretboard. Burn them into your muscle memory, and then put them in your pocket. And next time you are thinking that maybe you could use that lick, and somebody is playing in the key of A, then you just find an A and you just rip off your lick. It's that simple. No more anything to do with theory. All right? So I hope this helps. It's just something I wanted to share with you because it's important that we build these little lick libraries. Now, remember, when you start out, just like with your chords, okay, they're not going to sound the greatest. It takes some time. Well, when you're starting with licks, it's the same thing. They're going to sound maybe very boxy or very basic, like boom, 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 or whatever they may be. They might just sound, but don't worry. As you start building finger speed, finger dexterity, you start adding a few little, like the slide and the hammer-ons and things like that, and some pull-offs and all these little things that you will eventually learn, these little techniques, right? you will apply those to your little licks and they will become even better, right? So remember, it's not overnight, it's not in a day or a week, but you continuously noodle around with your guitar and you not only invent, but you perfect these little licks. And then you bring those into play at the proper time in the proper key by matching up the first note of the lick with the key note of the song or the phrase that you want to play to. All right? So I hope this helps. And once again, thank you so much for your ongoing support. Don't forget to join me every Thursday for our live lessons or our live guitar show where we talk about anything and everything to do with guitar. It's for beginners right through to intermediates. And other than that, remember, there's really only one way to get better with your guitar. Just play your guitar. All right. See you later.